Yay. Okay, so guys, welcome to the call once again. I'm really excited to be doing this with you. I did a training call for the company last month, and it was all about kind of like some tips that I use to run my business. But a lot of you reached out to me after that call with more specific questions. And so I put together this call so that I can help you by answering those questions. And so we're just going to dive right in, okay? So I hope you've got something to write with or something to type with, because hopefully you'll be able to apply all of this to your business. So the first question I wanted to address is people ask me, how do you schedule your Radiantly You time, and when do you work your business? And so this might sound a little simple, but I think it's a really amazing question. And I think this is going to be different for everyone. You know, my life isn't exactly your life, and my schedule might not be exactly what yours is. But I want to still share with you exactly what I do. So if you want to adopt it and see how it goes for yourself, then by all means, go for it. So the first thing that I believe very strongly in is something that I call power hours. And this is when you work uninterrupted for a full hour. Nick and Melissa always talk to us about momentum, and momentum is built by consistency. So when I'm consistent with my power hours, I notice my business moving forward. And I think it's because I really focus during my power hours. A couple of you asked how many hours a week that I work, and so I'll tell you, I try to keep it around 10 hours a week, which breaks down to about 2 hours a day. And within that time, I do the activities. I follow the system. Outside of my business hours, I might kind of, do my own thing, like, work on a customer newsletter or the team recognition newsletter. But within the hours that I've set aside for Radiantly You, I do the activities that we talk about in the Quick Start. So another question that was asked of me is, what does a normal day look like for me? So I'm going to tell you what my day looks like. Right now, my youngest baby, he just turned 6 months today, he takes a morning nap. And so while he's sleeping, I hop on the computer for about 20 to 30 minutes, and I answer emails and Facebook messages. Usually by that mid-morning, a few have started to come in or from the night before. And so after I do that, I really try hard not to be pulled by emails and messages for the rest of the day. And I'm the first to admit that I'm not perfect at this. And, if I'm home and my kids are fine, I'll go hop on the computer. However, I really like that I don't keep going back to the computer to do work until my business hours. And this is freeing for me. And I've heard from other independent wellness guides that they feel the same way, that once they've blocked out the business hours, like we talked about last month, once you do that, the rest of the day is for you. You don't have to worry about, oh, my gosh, I have to do something. I believe very strongly also in to-do lists. I have a planner that I absolutely love. And so whenever something comes to mind that I have to get done, I just write it on my to-do list. And that way I don't feel like I have to do it right then. Well, I should say I do feel like I have to do it right then, but I discipline myself so that I don't do it right then. I wait until my business hours to do that activity for Radiantly You. So the next thing is once a week, I have my mom come to my house and watch my kids for about 1.5 to 2 hours. My mom is super, super sweet. And she won't let me pay her for this time. So instead, what I do is I pay her with Radiantly You products. And I'm serious, this is what I do, because she loves the products and she raves about them to everybody. So I think this is the perfect situation. Whenever she needs something, I just give it to her. And it's nice because I get to write it off as a business expense for myself, and then she's happy and keeps spreading the word about how awesome the products are. So it works out really, really well. So yeah, she'll come to my house during the day once a week, and that is the only time I will schedule calls during the day. This is usually when I will do my training sessions with my upline, or when I will schedule a random training call with my downline during the day. And I know that there are some people on the call tonight who have 1 kid or they have 6 kids, And I'm telling you, trying to do a business call with any kids around you is very, very difficult. And I'm not saying this because I don't like kids. Believe me, I love kids. I absolutely love them. I love my kids. But I'm speaking from experience that I could not effectively work my business while I was also responsible for keeping my kids happy and quiet at the same time. I mean, there were so many times where I would get them all set up with a good activity in the other room, dial somebody's number, and then 10 seconds into the call, right about when I was asking, oh, is this a good time to talk, one of my kids would come charging into the room and ask for candy because they knew that I was on the phone, and they could do anything that they wanted because all I wanted was to keep them quiet and happy. And so I felt very torn and pulled by trying to do both things at once. But when my mom is there watching the kids, I'm really able to focus and crank out a good power hour. So I'm just going to share something with you. This is kind of getting off track a little bit, but I never liked it when people would tell me, go out and get a break from your kids. It just always rubbed me the wrong way, and I pass no judgment on anybody who feels this way because that's totally fine, but I just don't like feeling that way. But I'm honest with myself, and I know that I need a break for myself. It is a little selfish sounding. I mean, I don't want a break from anybody or anything. I just need it for myself so that I can kind of regroup and breathe and have adult conversations, So I tell my husband, I could go out and get a break and spend money, or I could get a break and make money. And so my husband is really on board with helping me with my business when we look at it that way. So aside from the once a week where I work during the day, the majority of the time that I work my business is in the evenings when my husband is home to watch the kids. And he's really incredible. He'll do bedtime. He'll hold the baby. He's just awesome. So I usually work between 7 and 9 or 7:30, 9:30. But either way, I like to get a good chunk of work in at night. And I made myself a little office space in the basement. I have my laptop, my headset, my binder, and the binder is something that Kaylee talked about in our call last month. It's a great tool. Definitely listen to that training call again and find out how she put that together. And so I'll have that and my list and my planner, and everything is just where I need it. It's all at my desk, so I don't have to waste time looking for things and gathering information. It's all right there. It's all in one place. And so then I can just go. Another question that I got was, what do you do when you work? And the simple answer of that is follow our system. But if you're like me and you like more concrete details, I'm happy to share with you what I do. When I sit down for my evening power hours, the first thing that I do is make calls. I don't spend time answering emails or going on Facebook or giving myself any excuse to talk myself out of making calls, because the biggest obstacle in this business, as Nick Brown likes to say, is the 6 inches between your ears. And if you start to overthink things or let yourself get nervous or whatever, you will find a reason to not make a call, So I just do it. And then I've learned that this is good for 2 reasons. The first reason is because sometimes when you make phone calls, you catch people at a bad time. But then they know that they can talk again in an hour or whatever. And so it's really nice for me to be able to be like, oh, well, hey, can I call you in an hour? And so getting your phone calls in first thing gives you time to still connect in the evening if they're able to. It's also really nice that if you have set up that time with another leader in your company, somebody that you do 3-way calls with, it's really great to say, oh, hey, I caught you. Do you want to talk tonight? I might be able to get them on the phone. And then you work with your upline or the other leader to arrange that 3-way call that evening. That's a really nice thing to do. And then the second reason that I do calls right away is because sometimes you get people calling you back a little bit later. Like maybe you will have called them and they would be finishing up dinner or getting the kids in the bath or whatever. And so if they call you back later, it'll still be within your business hours, and so you can answer the phone. I really focus on making calls first to get myself on a roll. And then after I've made calls and talked to people, I stop making phone calls at 9 o'clock if I'm reaching other people on the East Coast, because I just don't like to make calls after 9 p.m. I feel like that's the cutoff time. But then after I make calls, I then answer my emails and my messages for a few minutes. And then what I do is I always end my time by planning what I'm going to do the next night or the next day, depending on if I have daytime business hours. And this is a tip I learned from Amanda, one of our founders, and it is very, very helpful, and I really recommend that you do it. Some people have come to me and said, organization doesn't come easy to me, and I totally get that. You should see my house sometimes, guys, okay? Like, it's not always tidy. But this is a skill that you work on and that you fine-tune. And so these little tips are things that you can apply to become a more organized business owner. And if it's okay, I'm actually going to sidetrack for a minute and talk about skill sets. We're going to talk about these kind of skills. You hear our leaders, and Nick Brown especially, talking about skill sets, like how inviting to an RYBP is a skill, how doing three-way calls is a skill, stuff like that. And I want to encourage you to really be aware of this. Skills take work, they take practice, they take determination, and you will get better at them. I know for me, I literally used to shake on the phone. Like the first several times that I spoke on training calls for the company or opportunity calls when Melissa would have some of us do testimonials, my voice was shaking so much, I thought the entire house was shaking with me. And I'm not kidding you. I was so nervous. But with practice, I can now do this and feel way more comfortable. And I do still get nervous when I'm dialing someone's number and telling them about Radiantly You, but it has gotten so much easier. I'm getting more confident, I'm getting more sure of myself, and I'm more calm. My muscle, so to speak, is getting stronger. And it's just a skill that you work on. You can't expect to get better at something if you're not going to try, if you're not going to keep going. One skill set that I'm currently working on is my wording. I tend to be a very blunt person. I just tell it like it is. And I really need to work on my word choice, my tone, my delivery. I don't want to hurt people's feelings or turn people away by my tough love. But I'm not just going to settle for like, oh, well, this is just the way I am, and, it's too hard for me to be kind and whatever. Like, no way. I am going to work on that skill because we have leaders in this company who just exemplify, really beautiful wording and concise wording. And so these are people that I'm going to ask for advice. I'm going to have them mentor me. I'm going to really develop that skill set for myself so that I can be a better leader and a better communicator. I don't want you to shortchange yourself. If there's something that you know that you need to work on, that's awesome. Like last week, Melissa said on the training call, acknowledge that the gap is there, then set a plan to fix it, and then get to work. That's it. It's going to take work, but you can totally do it. So that was a little bit of sidetracking. So now let's get back to, the day in the life of Maggie. So I have a little schedule for myself that I like to share with you because it's fun and it's easy to remember. If you're like me and you want to have like a theme for every day of the week, this might really help you. So Monday for me is make your calls Monday. It's so cheesy, so just beware, guys, okay? But it's easy. I mean, everyone can make calls on Monday. You just make your calls. People often ask, do I leave a voicemail? And so I've been told yes and no by people that I respect very highly, and so I can't tell you yes or no. People will tell you different things, okay? So you have to make that decision ahead of time based on the relationship with that person. If you're like me and you don't have like a set way, I make that decision ahead of time. Like if I know I'm calling, Mary Lou, I know ahead of time, am I going to leave a voicemail? If I get her machine, what am I going to say? It's really important so that you don't stumble on your words when the voicemail hits. So just trust me from experience. Plan that ahead of time. If you do leave a message, I really recommend that you keep it very, very quick and you just say something very vague like, hey, Mary Lou, it's Maggie. Give me a call back when you get this. Bye. And why? Because, this is so cheesy, I'm warning you, Tuesday is Try Again Tuesday. Tuesday is a great time to make those calls again. It's a great time to reach the people that you didn't reach on Monday. And if you don't leave a drawn-out voicemail for them, calling them again is so much easier. So try again Tuesday. And don't forget to call new people if you don't have people to try to reach again. And then get ready for Wednesday. I don't have a W word for Wednesday, but the reason that I make a lot of calls on Monday and Tuesday is because I get to direct those new people to the Wednesday night opportunity call. It works really well. Maybe Wednesday should be Works Well Wednesday. I don't know, whatever. But if somebody has a W word, I'd be very happy to hear it. And then Thursday, I call it Three-Way Call Thursday. For some reason, I seem to schedule a lot of my three-way calls that evening, whether it's for my downline or people that I bring to other leaders for a three-way call. And I think it's usually because by that point, because of the way I run my business, by that point in the week, people have already listened to the video, they've already maybe listened to the opportunity call, and then they want more info on the business. And so this really works to have a three-way call Thursday. And then Friday, I call Follow-Up Friday to tie up any loose ends of the week and schedule any calls for the following week. And yes, in case you didn't guess, I do call new people if I don't have any loose ends to tie up. If it is like Thursday or Friday and I'm speaking to new people, I don't really wait for the Wednesday night opportunity call. I usually send them a recording because usually by then it's hard to get back in touch with people. So if they want more info on the business or they want to hear more about the company, I'll send them the recording. And my goal is to get in a place in my business where I have one person signing up every week. And in that case, I want Saturdays to become Sign 'em Up Saturday. Something I've recently started doing to keep track of who I've spoken to is a tip from a video shared by our founder, Amanda. And I can't exactly give you the link to this video over the phone, but I will tell you exactly how to find it, okay? So get your pens ready, and I will tell you. Okay, so the first thing that you're going to do is go to the website Pinterest. That's the word interest with a pin, or with a P, if you haven't heard of it already. Pinterest. And then you're going to go to the search bar at the top of the page, and you're going to search the words Direct Sales Notebook. Just go to the search bar, type those in, and the search results will pop up. And then you're going to see a picture of a composition notebook with pastel polka dots on it. And you're going to click that and watch the video. And it's made by somebody else in another direct sales company. I don't know who it is. But she talks about this system that she uses where she writes at the top of every page in the notebook is a contact name and number. And then she will actually take notes of every contact that she's had with that person. You know, whether she got the voicemail, whether she spoke to them and they were at work or whatever. And this helps her keep track. And I have started to do this, and it's so awesome, guys, because I mean, maybe not for you, but for me, it's really hard to remember past conversations. I used to have little shortcuts when I would write notes next to somebody's name, like LM for left a message or NM for no message. And I would be like, oh, my gosh, what did I say on that message? Or did I say I was going to call them back? Whatever. You know, it was super, super hard for me to keep track. So this new system is really helpful to me. So I encourage you guys to do it if you find yourself kind of scrambling when you're reaching out to people a second or third time. And it also really showed me that, you know, the more exposures is really good. You know, you don't have to stop after one or two exposures. Keep reaching out to them because it's amazing. In the video, she shows that people do sign up after, I don't remember what it was, but many exposures. And so I hope that tip helps you. The last thing that I want to talk to you guys about is something that I really hope I'll be able to relay over this phone call. It's a recent mind shift that I've had, and I hope I've prepared this well enough for you guys. All of these tips that I've shared with you guys are awesome, and they're amazing, and, you know, whatever, you know, a little pat on my back. But without the right mindset, though, these tips are just going to float around in the back of your head. They might surface once in a while. You might come across these notes and be like, oh, yeah, I could do that. But they're not really going to stick. So how do we get this to stick? And I want to share with you a little story. A couple months ago, Melissa Brown traveled down to Maryland, and she did an RRYBP for one of our awesome founders, Lucinda. And Melissa came back, and we had a training call, and she told me she was so impressed by Lucinda and how Lucinda viewed and told people about Radiantly You. And she viewed it as a business. She was serious about it. And hearing Melissa talk about Lucinda and hearing Lucinda's passion through Melissa's story really stuck out to me. And I want this to kind of sink in for a minute for you, because we hear this all the time, that Radiantly You is a business, that it's your business, that you're a business owner, and we have an amazing business opportunity to offer people. But I am not sure if a lot of us really get what that means. A business is a job. It is a way to earn money. And I'm speaking from completely personal experience here. But I had a really unrealistic and unreasonable approach to the business until very recently. I seriously thought that I could work around my kids. And I thought I could do some work here and there, that I could follow the system loosely when it worked for me, and make lots of money on the side. Yay! I mean, that sounds so perfect. And it's really embarrassing to even admit that, but that is seriously what I thought. But after hearing Lucinda's testimonial, it just hit me that this is a job, and I have to set aside time for it in order for it to be profitable. And I have to work on my skill sets in order to grow and develop myself, and in order to teach others to do the same. And along the same lines of that, I just want to share with you guys how extremely fortunate we are to be here today. We have an amazing system to use to help us build our businesses. We really work with those who want to work. And we work with you to help you learn the skills, to learn the system, so that you can be very successful. If you want to make this successful, we will tell you exactly what to do. You do not have to guess. You do not have to come up with your own stuff. And I know this sounds more like an opportunity call right now, but if you're on the call and you're an IWG, I want you to realize that if you don't know what to do with your business, then just ask. Reach up to your upline, reach up to your sponsor, reach up to Nick and Melissa. Email them. They want to help people who want to build their businesses. You do not have to be part of a special little club that only gets Nick and Melissa's attention. If you want to work with them, reach up to them. If they're really too busy, they will put you in touch with an amazing leader who will be able to help you. But I really want you tonight to just absorb all of these testimonials. You know, I share tips from Amanda. I share tips from Lucinda. These are all amazing leaders in the company who take their business seriously. And I want you to change your mindset so that you can start viewing this as a job too. This is a super amazing, fun, flipping, life-changing job. And I just really want your business to be able to take off with an enormous amount of momentum. So I hope I'm able to relay the excitement and the passion that I really feel about this. You know, we have amazing founders, I mean by that Melissa and Nick Brown, who started this company, and they are so helpful and transparent with us. And I hope that you all feel as fortunate as I do tonight to be working with them and for yourself and for your family. So I think what we're going to do, because that's all that I have prepared for you guys tonight, I don't think we're going to take questions tonight, but as always, if you have more questions after this call, feel free to reach up to me or send me an email or find me on Facebook, and I'd be happy to share with you whatever information that you wanted. And I hope you all can just, you know, if you took notes, I hope you read through them. I hope you apply this stuff to your business and your day-to-day life to create consistency, to create momentum, and, you know, give yourself an amazing holiday check, and then just, you know, start off 2015, like, amazingly. Okay, so that's really all I have for you guys tonight. Thank you so much for calling in and listening. I'm excited for you guys when you become awesome leaders and get to lead your own calls. So have a wonderful night, and we will all see you next week on the Wednesday night call. Thanks, guys.